Hello, welcome back. In this one, we're going over kernel exploits. So, if you didn't watch the Linux privilege escalation course, or just unfamiliar with kernel in any way, I'm going to quickly explain what it is and how it impacts your life as a pen tester. So, as it says here, it's the heart of the operating system. It's the most privileged portion of memory. So basically, the or generally an operating system will have different locations in memory. And to make it simple, the two main ones are kernel and user mode. There are things in between, so there's different layers and different rings depending on, or referred to as rings, depending on which operating system you are on. They're all different. Linux is different to Windows, and Windows is different to Mac, things like that. And you have it on all sort of computer-based systems. So like on any sort of computational device, there will exist a privileged portion. There is a kernel, and then a user mode. So if you have access to the kernel of any system, you basically have you can do anything. You can perform anything you'd like. You have unlimited access essentially. A very good example of this type of exploit is Eternal Blue. If you haven't heard of this, you live under a rock. And when this came out, obviously everyone was, well, for those in the know, it definitely wasn't an unintended thing. It was say what you want about it, but there's no way they didn't know about it. It was made from the start, and yeah, I'll leave that there. But yeah, essentially, kernel exploits are a good one to check for, especially on your CTF type boxes. A few of them are going to have them, so it's always good to check. Not some, well, even more so in the present. It's still a present thing. Obviously, exploits are always discovered, so it's good to check even on newer versions. See if, like for example, running the most recent update 2022 version of Windows Server, there will be a kernel exploit coming out in a few years. It's bound to happen. It always will, so it's always good to check. So automated tools and checkers will highlight these, but again, it's good to know how to enumerate these manually also. So especially check on older systems, like anything that's basically not up to date. It's something you just want to look at just in case, because it might not be our um, fully fledged remote kernel exploit. It might be we need a foothold, but that might be a way for us to escalate privileges. So as it says there, some need foothold, others are the foothold. So like Eternal Blue, that is our system foothold. If the system is vulnerable, as long as SMB or certain services are running, we'll be able to get into that system via that exploit. Whereas others, we need to be on the system and then execute the um, kernel exploit. So one easy way to do this using a tool. This will automatically be run in your automated tools anyway, or generally it will be, but it's always good to just run it yourself and check. So we're going to use the system info command on Windows machines. This will basically just display all the information of the systems, like the kernel version, the Windows version, different things like that, what security updates are installed. And that's obviously a crucial one, because again, you might be on a specific version of Windows 7, but it doesn't mean it's vulnerable to a kernel exploit, but one version might be to the other. Things like that, like for instance, if you're on pretty much any version of Windows XP, something's probably gone desperately wrong there, and yeah, good check. So how this basically works is you will run the system info command on your machine. You will copy the contents of system info command into a text file, and then what you will do is you will use the Windows exploit suggester Python script to check for any exploits that are available. I don't know if this is still being updated. I still use it, but I know I imagine there will be, if it's not being updated, there will be another script that is keeping it up to date, or the database. So all this is doing here is when you run the script, you want to use Windows exploits just to update, and that will basically get the most latest information for you. And then with that, you will then specify with the dash dash database parameter your spreadsheet file, which is basically all the information this tool needs to work, and then you will specify your system info file. So whichever wherever you saved it basically. So this one Windows 7 service.1 system info.txt, you just call it whatever you want, obviously as long as you specify where it is, and then this tool will basically go away, see if there's anything of interest there for you. As I said, Limpies and other tools will do that as well for you. So I've left a link there. I'll put this in the description as well, so you can have a look at it for yourself, but it's just a very cool one to know. If you want to do this manually, again, this tool exists to do it for you, but if you just look at system info, have a look, research the security updates on there, see if anything piques your interest, and just Google around. But again, I'd always suggest running this. It's just a bit easier. So I'm on a machine here, and on this one, I've just run system info. This is the information it'll give you, and all you will do if you want to use an automated script, just copy this whole contents here, paste it into a text file, and then the script will go through for you. But as you can see, it displays all sorts of information to the operating system version, um, information about your processor, when it was originally installed, boot times, things like that. Obviously, the good to know things like this. So if it's on a virtual machine, so if you might not necessarily use this um, just for pen testing. If you're building applications things like that, you want to just check system information on your through your application. Let's say if you're verifying if it's not on a virtual machine, this could be a nice, quick and easy way to do that. Check the system manufacturer among other things like that. Seeing if it's 64-bit or 32-bit, things like that. Processor type, what's it got in it? See if an exploit requires multi-threading. Good example I used last time. This will be a good way to check that. And just other things as well. As I say, your security hotfix is down here. That's another really good one for this tool. It sort of does everything for you. Network cards, another interesting one. I wouldn't use this command to check my network configuration. I just use like ipconfig, and that'll show all your other. And I don't know if this one shows virtual cards. It might only show um, hardware, but I'm not entirely sure. Though anyway, I just did just a nice one out there. Bit of information it shows you, so memory, things like that. But yeah, that's how you use system info and kernel exploits.